Thank you very much for that, Tanya. And joining us right now is Abhishek Manu Singhvi, one of Congress Party's tallest leaders and the man, of course, who's leading the legal charge as far as the Karnataka pot boiler is concerned. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Singhvi, for being with us. I must have to start with you on the legal point of this entire matter. There has been a lot of reference to the order of preference in the Sarkaria Commission report. It's pretty clear. It's the pre-poll alliance first, single party next, and with the support of independents, and then the post-poll alliance. So technically, doesn't that mean that the single largest party gets preference over a post-poll alliance stitched hurriedly together?
I'm not able to hear you very clearly, but from what I understand, let me tell you that there's a lot of misconception and also an error in what you said. Sarkaria para quoted in Rameshwar is very clear that in the ideal situation of a majority, the first alternative situation is where there is a pre-poll alliance. Pre-poll alliance doesn't exist in our present case, so let's end that. The second alternative is the single largest party, with a very important caveat which you are forgetting and most people are forgetting, including the law minister. The single largest party in Sarkaria report, that para says, has to be the single largest party which, I quote, with independents and others crosses the middle mark. Thereafter, if that fails, the third is the single largest combination post-poll. Now, I want to ask a simple question which will illustrate the point and end the point. The Election Commission has issued 117 certificates to JDS and Congress members saying Abhishek Singhvi is elected as a Congress member, ABC is elected as a JDS member, etc. Simple arithmetic which neither Newton nor Einstein can change will tell you, and Mr. Yeddyurappa is not a magician, that 221 minus 117 certificates, Mr. Yeddyurappa can be only 104. So, as he says in his letter that as the leader of the BJP, I lay my claim. Well, he cannot lay a claim to more than 104. It's an arithmetical impossibility. Where is the question of the governor applying his mind? It's arithmetical impossibility. So, if it's an arithmetical impossibility, where is the question of single largest test coming in? Single largest test is where single largest with independents or others is able to cross the middle mark.
Okay. And he's still short of at least 8 or 9 members there. But Mr. Singhvi...
Two more, then I can... Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. He's at 104 and that is the Congress Party's argument. But what exactly are you expecting from the Supreme Court? Because the Honorable Supreme Court has already said restraining governor will create a constitutional vacuum. Is time reduction then for proving majority the best bet for the Congress Party at this stage?
You're wrong again for two reasons. One, there is no unconditional swearing in, there is no unfettered installation of a chief minister. The Supreme Court is very clear in saying that we are allowing you, Mr. Yeddyurappa, to be sworn in if you so choose, on the basis of our order, which we may or may not pass tomorrow in future. So in future, we may unseat you, we may accept you, we may modify you. So a man is taking charge not unconditionally but with fair warning that he is under a cloud. That is already a stay of some kind. Yes, he can function as a chief minister but not as an unchallenged, unconditional, undiluted chief minister. Secondly, before he performs a floor test at any date, 2 days, 48 hours or 5 days or 10 days or 15 days, he remains in one sense a caretaker kind of person because you haven't cleared the floor test. You don't have the confidence and you go around left, right and center taking decisions, policy decisions. So I think illusions of grandeur, whoever has them, have a very nasty habit of coming around and hitting you when you least expect them to hit you. And that's the meaning of law. The law is above you and that kind of illusion of grandeur which you have should be soon disabused of you. And one more thing, I go to the Supreme Court with conviction, hope,
yes,
with expectation, but I never go with presumptuousness. I am not bothered about the result. I am, as a counsel, my job is to do my duty. So judging is for the judges. So it's not a question of second guessing judgments. It's not a question of dealing with sub judice matters in a manner where the contents of the merits are being second guessed by people on television or by me as a counsel.
Mr. Singhvi, I completely agree with you. You're not going with a presumption there. But a few weeks ago, 70 of you and your party MPs wanted the CGI to be impeached. And here you are knocking at the doors of the Supreme Court at midnight. You have rightly said that irrespective of merit, was very gracious of the Supreme Court to fix hearing at 1:45 a.m. at court number 2, shows justice never sleeps and is accessible 24/7. Do you regret attacking the judiciary at one stage?
I fully stand by whatever I have said. I find it laughable, indeed comic, that such mixing up and complete confusion can arise. The mixing up is that there was a petition by individuals. Mind you, there is no Congress party impeachment motion, but yes, several congressmen signed. And even though I was the last signing person, but yes, I did sign. In any case, that signature ended with a decision of the Mr. Naidu. And now the challenge is withdrawn. But that's not the point. Do you suggest that the exercise of a sovereign right, of a constitutional right of impeachment, means that thereafter, when great moments of constitutional adjudications arise, or when somebody wants dispute resolution, he is barred from going to Supreme Court? Because somebody exercised his right of impeachment, therefore he is stopped and barred from going to Supreme Court. How silly can we get? There is no alternative to the Supreme Court. It is the only alternative. Yes, an individual judge there, in this case the Chief Justice, suffered an impeachment motion. But can I then go and say, look, Chief Justice, we had an impeachment motion against you, therefore either for the biggest dispute, for the biggest constitutional crisis, I have no remedy, I must go to the High Court or the District Court, or I have a remedy, it must go to the Supreme Court, but you should not touch it, I will go to a judge of my choice to decide when the roaster is made. I think this is bizarre. An impeachment motion and this being mixed up or connected is bizarre. It's funny. It's ridiculous.
I get your point, and I think your point well noted. But a quick last question, sir. And you know, the Congress party wants to now stake claim in states like Goa and Manipur and Meghalaya, and RJD wants to do it in Bihar. Is it in direct contrast to your position in the Supreme Court? Because if you defy the single party position here, why do you want to dilute your argument in the Supreme Court by staking claim? It's almost being reduced to mockery of sorts.
You have again misapprehended the entire purpose rationale of the campaign which is proposed in some states. First, let me clarify, there is no one-size-fits-all campaign. Different states are involved, different political parties are involved. For example, in Bihar, there is a very unique, strong position of a pre-poll alliance between the Congress and the RJD. So there is no one-size-fits-all. But second and more important, why you misapprehend the entire concept is that this is a political movement for exposure, for exposing, for embarrassing, for showing how duplicitous and double standard and speaking in two voices or five voices the BJP is. It is a political movement where we are entitled to say, look, there is a huge contradiction and paradox, both can't be right. You choose which is right and stand by it. Karnataka today and Goa then can't stand together. Karnataka today and Meghalaya then can't stand together. Now this is a very valid, legitimate political tool which we are entitled to employ to expose the BJP, to say that they run with the hare and hunt with the hound purely for selfish, narrow, fixated political gains in an opportunistic, temporary manner.
All right. On that note, Mr. Singhvi, thank you very much for speaking to us right here at ET Now. It's a pleasure talking to you and getting your side of the arguments as far as the Karnataka pot boiler is concerned. Thank you very much for sparing time and talking to us. We call it a night here on India Tonight, but up next, of course, is the India Development Debate.